give yourself a little pat on the back, or really celebrate yourself. You're an amazing mom, and your kids are really lucky to have you. Okay. So I really wanted to gather for this work today, not just because of this unprecedented time that we're in, right? This global experience. Our usual routines and outlets and villages, right, and ways of being have all been completely uprooted and flipped upside down. And I think, you know, we don't have the support and what we're being asked to do right now as mothers, like this invisible load of motherhood, right? Like COVID edition, more so than ever, is virtually impossible. It really is. So I think coming together and connecting and sharing tools and practices right now is extremely important. You know, the isolation, the being in close quarters with our kids, where, you know, we're seeing things really close up, really magnified, right? Maybe some new patterns are emerging. Maybe, you know, we just have to, we're seeing stuff in a totally different way than we've seen it before. And it's really, really uncomfortable. Okay. And all of this is especially magnified for kiddos right now, especially us sensitives, because this energy that is surrounding us, right? It literally can make us feel like we're crawling out of our skin. In our sensitive kiddos, it feels like there's a swarm of angry bees in their field. Okay. Hello. I'm just looking at the chat. Hello, love. You're home with your daughter who's 6-year-old and a husband is working. Oh, daughter and you are both sensitive people. Okay, good. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. So yeah, so if you can imagine what your kiddos are experiencing with this energy right now, it literally feels like there's angry bees just swarming around them. Okay, so you can imagine what that might be like as an experience. Okay, and I'm going to talk about why. And so I've learned so much about these tools that I'm going to share with you today, not just, you know, as a training, for my training as a school psychologist and my counseling background, from my life coaching, you know, working with clients who are mostly moms, you know, my own path, my own spiritual path, my own, you know, path to awakening, but really being in it on the front lines through motherhood, right? Like I said, being a highly sensitive person and having not one, not two, but 3 highly sensitive littles, right? Plus like reparenting myself, because I have still a lot of unhealed stuff from my childhood that comes up, right? That gets triggered by our kids. That's just how it works. I should turn off my notifications. So yeah, so I really, you know, just over the last 5 weeks, I've been making notes of things that have been helping me to ground and helping my kids. Also the tools that I've been sharing with, you know, some of my mama friends and my clients, just to do the same thing with themselves and their kiddos. And, you know, they've been really helpful, and I knew that I needed to share them with you. So I just think we need each other more than ever. And, you know, the support and the tools and these things we can keep in our back pocket, kind of life preservers for this time when we feel like we might be drowning a little bit. I do want to say before we get started that this is a practice, okay? Oh, sorry. There's no being perfect at any of this. Even knowing these tools, right, doesn't change the fact that this is hard. It doesn't change the fact that we're going to fall down. We're going to mess up. You know, we're going to make mistakes. Like we're actually going to be like, screw the tools. I'm mad, or I feel this way, right? This is what it looks like. Like, this is what healing old patterns and being really present for the discomfort, being in the mud, this is what it looks like, right? So there's no right way, and I don't want you to beat yourself up or be hard on yourself, right? But I think every time that we bring awareness to what's going on, every time we learn something new, every time we, you know, maybe even attempt a tool or attempt to rewrite a story that we're telling ourselves, or to change, you know, something that's going on within our families, we carve away like a new path, a new neural pathway, right? Like, it's really beautiful, really, really beautiful. So make sure that you remember that there's never perfection, okay? And that your children, no matter what's going on right now, no matter how you feel like they feel about you, no matter how strange your relationship might feel, like they chose you to be their mother for a reason. Like, yes, like they know who you truly are, like your true essence, your gifts, right? Like you hold the exact qualities that they need to flourish and to learn and to become who they are meant to be, right? These are special, gifted, intuitive children. And our world may give some of them negative labels, right? I call BS. It's one of the reasons that I left my career as a school psych. So I want you to start to see how these sensitivities, right, are their gifts. I know it can feel like a burden right now, especially when they're young. And if you think back to when you were a child, if you were highly sensitive, how hard that was, right? Because we live in a really dense world that has a lot of pain. So as they get older, as we get older, you know, us highly sensitive people, we're able to realize what unique and special beings we are and how we can use these gifts of being able to feel and hear and sense everything, right? To make the world a more beautiful place. And that's a big part of a highly sensitive person's purpose. If you have those kiddos, like they're here to bring in this new way, this whole new wave of consciousness, right? This new divine, really beautifully balanced feminine and masculine way of being. If you want to read more about it, you can Google starseed children, right? And most are either indigo, crystal, or rainbow children. I even think maybe Gaia.com has a quiz, if that's something that interests you. But regardless, you know, of the gifts, yes, rainbow children. Yes, Caitlin. Junie's a rainbow. Jonah is a diamond, and I'm an indigo. Like, there's a whole, you can read all about the personalities. Renee, would you mind just writing down the Gaia.com in the little chat for me? So regardless, like it can be really challenging to parent, right? It can be really hard to hold space for them. These big feelings, right? These reactions, these behaviors, no matter what age they are. It can, especially if we're sensitive, even if we're not, like it can overwhelm us. It can frustrate us, right? It can make us feel sometimes useless or incapable, right? Thanks, Renee. It can really ignite our own trauma and trigger some of our mama wounds, right? Especially if we weren't able to express who we truly were, our big feelings when we were kids, right? If we were taught that it wasn't okay to say how we felt, to let it all out, right? It wasn't safe, then what is happening with our kids is going to trigger that. It's going to trigger that pain. And that's where we either react, right? Or we shut down, right? There's different types of behaviors. So a lot of us are being asked to support and be there for our kids, you know, these really intense needs. And we don't even know, we haven't even really fully processed our own. Okay. So this is really hard. And I just want to tell you that you're not alone and you're not doing this wrong. This is just really hard. Okay. So this energy that's going on right now, this is what's happening with your sensitive kiddos and with you. There's so much fear swirling around in the energy of the world, right? And the energy of the collective. And it's literally like we're feeling it, right? It's in our homes, it's in our energy fields. It kind of feels like a heavy fog, right? My friend Anna, who's with us, she's a mom and an intuitive, and she was just saying it feels like this pressure cooker, right? And mine's been like a thick fog, like I feel like I can't breathe. And you're not imagining it, like this is the dominant energy, right? And it's affecting us highly sensitive people really deeply. So your kiddos, their nervous systems aren't capable of holding that amount of fear energy, right? The amount of information, it's like it's sensory overload. It leads us to feeling powerless, overwhelmed, right? So in general, for you and your kiddos, more information is not better. Like they just need to know what they need to know right now, okay? They need boundaries. We need boundaries with the news, very little media, like boundaries with the conversations, boundaries with the energy, right? Not to be shielded completely or pretend like everything's okay, like no gaslighting, right? But like I talk about in one of our tools, just very like gentle, honest, like acknowledging the feelings, acknowledging what's going on, but with like very like a good energy, right? And that's why we're here today. We're here to learn these boundaries, these grounding tools, so that we can be in our body right now. We can feel like existing is a safe thing to do. Okay, we need to be able to ground and protect our energy, right? So that we can be a light and be of service to the world and for our children, right? That is the highly sensitive person's medicine. Helping, giving, connecting, loving, right? And we cannot do that when we're surrounded by angry bees. Okay? So, any questions? I'll check in with our chatty poo. Yeah, we got a lot of sensitive people going on. Yeah, brave, not perfect. Please. Yes, thank you, Renee. How does this work? Ooh, okay, sorry, I'm figuring out the chat a little bit. This webinar thing is new for me. Okay, so we're going to drop into a meditation in a minute because I want to help you start to clear the slate of whatever grief is hanging around inside of you, right, as the mother. It's important for us to release some of what we're carrying and move into our light and power to be able to parent from a place of groundedness, or at least try. Okay. After that, if it resonates with you, I want to touch upon just the difference really quickly between what anxiety and fear feels like in your body, so that you'll know which one is running the show. And you can parent from a place and make decisions for your family from a place of knowing instead of anxiety, right? And then I want to lead you through some grounding tools and practices for you and your highly sensitive people. They're going to be simple. They're going to be ones that you can use every day whenever you need them. Okay. And I'll share another free gift for you. And yes, innate wisdom, Kate. Yes, exactly. And knowing the difference right now, right, between our innate wisdom and our anxiety, especially with trauma being activated in some of us, is more difficult, right? So this is really important work. And I want to give you a little sneak peek into my new project for us. But really, you know, I want this to be for you, right? I want to answer your questions. I want to make sure what I'm sharing is relevant to what's going on within your four walls. Please interrupt me. Please ask questions in the chat box. Like, I want this to be really informal. When you ask questions and you give specifics, it will help the mamas who are here listening to bring more clarity, you know, and especially on the recording as well. So please don't be shy, okay? And there's no shame or judgments, okay? It's happening in my house. Maybe it's happening in your house. It's happening in our houses, right? And I think the more honest we are, the more vulnerable we are, the more that we can heal, right? The more that we can clear away what's not serving us, the more that we can actually receive what we need to thrive and start creating some new ways of being for you during this time, right? And some new ways of being for your babes. Or at least we can try. We'll give it our best, right? Any questions or comments? Your son and yourself are the sensitive people. The feed is coming in and out. Can you guys hear me okay still? Or are we having a little technical difficulties? You can hear me okay, Kate? Okay. Okay. Yay, good, I'm so glad. Okay, great. So let's drop in, okay? If you can put down anything that's in your hands. If you have headphones, this might be a good time to put them on. If your house feels like a noisy zoo, or you have a little one squirming on your lap, it's all good. Trust that even if you can't hear the whole meditation, that you'll receive every single benefit, right? Your cells will just take in exactly what they need just by being in the space, okay? present over perfect. All right, so let's let our feet find the ground below them. If you can, sit up nice and tall with your spine aligned and close your eyes. I'm going to play just a little bit of a low Schumann resonance in the background. It's the vibration of the Earth's core. And it's actually a tool that I included on your PDF, and it's incredibly grounding. I'm going to play that just so it can kind of help us to drop in. But I'm going to move it away so it's not super loud. Okay, so with your eyes closed, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow your body just to soften into a relaxed expression. Feel what it feels like to just sit, to just be still, to be out of your mind and dropping into your body. Let's take another deep breath in through the nose and out. Notice the beating of your heart and the vibration of energy moving throughout your body. And imagine your body, your six bones, are taking root into the ground, coming out of your base chakra, dropping into the earth below you. Feel solid, safe, nourishing, grounding. Now, imagine roots are starting to move towards the center of the earth. Going deeper and deeper, moving towards the earth's core. Through the layers of the earth, past the crystals, through the liquid, toward the solid core. A place of nourishment, of light, of renewal, of oneness. Notice the sensations. Notice the colors. Feel the vibration. You can bring your whole self here. Your emotions, your spirit, your body, your mind, your awareness, all of you, here and now, nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Once you arrive at the Earth's core, I want you to connect with it. You can drop an anchor. You can allow your root to walk right in and feel that deep connection with Mother Earth. Solid, rooted, stable. And feel her loving, grounded energy radiating throughout your body. Reminding you that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are always held. Now that we've connected with our Great Mother, we're going to clear and release any grief or fear that's taking up space in our bodies, depleting us of our energy, standing in the way of us connecting to our real selves, so that we can be in a place of fullness, of wholeness, of love, and parent from that place. The only way to do it is to take it deep, 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 deep into Mother Earth, where she transforms it. So right now you can ask or notice to be shown where any fear or stress is residing in your body. You may have a sensation or a memory or just simply an awareness, a knowing. You just notice it without fear, without judgment, and just allow it to be taken down into the earth. Gently and with ease. So it can transmute whatever mental, emotional, or physical energy that we're carrying that does not serve us. Anything not of the light. It helps. You can imagine that you're breathing it through your body. Ask for it to be breathed through into the earth, going past your second chakra, healing the wound. This is a sacred offering to the feminine that's held within the earth. She's able to take all our fear and transform it. Just like whenever we bury something in the soil, we don't really know what happens. We just know that it's used and that it's transformed. And that is what is here for us, and children. Our fear is being transformed into a gentle power. And just allow that knowing to soften you. And now, as you're still anchored in, you can slowly start to come back, knowing that you can return here anytime that you like. But for now, it's time to come back. Back through the layers of the earth, the liquid, the beautiful crystals. Back into the room, and back into your body. Knowing how safe and guided and held you always are. You can start to move your fingers and your toes. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. So let's pause, if we can. Put my crystals down. And take a moment and just feel the sensations in your body right now. You can just scan your head, your chest, your stomach, your legs. Just notice what you're feeling. If you were able to drop in. You're chasing your kiddos, maybe not, but this is what it can feel like to be connected to your intuition, right? Connected to your place of truth, who you truly are. So I want to just take a minute to really notice what's going on in your body right now. And if you need to do this later because of your environments, you can do it. And just notice what it feels like, right? So you can start to understand the difference between fear and anxiety in your intuition. Okay. If it helps, you can grab your notebook or your paper and just write down, what you're feeling, what you're noticing, what came up for you during the meditation, if you like. I get that question from my clients a lot, right? They want to know the difference between what are they feeling? Is it their anxiety? Is it their intuition? Right? They say, Bree, like I'm tuning into how I feel, but how do I know who's running the show? Like, how do I know which voice is speaking to me, right? Because we want to be in our knowing. We want to parent and live and make decisions for our kids, right, in our lives from this place of knowing our intuition, because that's the truth, right? Like, that's how we can follow our path, the path that's been laid out for us. That's how we can flow with purpose, with ease and grace, right? So that dropping in feeling that you get when you meditate or just do, anything that brings you flow, that's what connecting with your inner knowing feels like. It feels to me like warm, it feels grounded, it feels solid, right? It feels free. Martha Beck, one of my favorite life coaches in the world, she calls it shackles off. It's a shackles off feeling, right? And making a decision or being in fear, right, or anxiety, I liken it to feeling really like restrictive. It feels really tight. It feels really fast, like sometimes cold, right? Like this, again, shackles on. It can also be really noisy, like shout, you know, kind of loud, like shouting to get your attention, like waving its hands in your face, like, don't, you know, don't, have you thought about this? Like, what about this? Or it's not that same grounded, dropped in sensation. It has like a faster frequency, right? Your knowing is always gentle and unwavering and humble, and it doesn't need to prove anything because it's just pure truth and love, right? And so that's how you can tell the difference. And I just wanted to draw attention to it because a lot of us are familiar, especially right now, with what that anxiety feels like, right? But a lot of us aren't as familiar with what our intuition, what our inner wisdom feels like. So the next time you want to make a decision and you want to make it from a place of knowing, you know, instead of a place of fear, right? Because when we make decisions from a place of fear, man, we can still get where we're meant to be, but it is a much longer, more strenuous path. So drop out of your mind, tune into your body, and see if you can tell who's running the show. Okay, any questions about that? Telling the difference between your anxiety and your intuition, knowing which one's speaking to you. Oh, good, shackles off. Yeah, shackles off and shackles on. Martha Beck, Finding Your North Star, one of my favorite books of all time. I highly recommend it. Okay, so let's talk grounding tools, right? If you have your PDF, you can pull it out. If you don't, cares, grab a piece of paper. If you don't have that either, being present is amazing. So I want to dive into the specific questions that some of you guys emailed me ahead of time and answer those. And then we'll have a time for you guys to send me any questions or things that you want specific support with. So if you want to text in the chat box the specific tools from the list that you want to learn about, or maybe something different, I'll go through them. You know, I can go through all the tools, but I'd rather spend our time talking about the ones that you want to know more about. Because this is what I've been hearing from you, right? My child is having a hard time. My baby is crying a lot more. Maybe there's more meltdowns, there's more whining, there's more baby talk, there's bedwetting, there's sleep regression, more clinging behavior, defiance, right? Are you guys seeing those things at home with your kids? If not, you can kind of drop a note in the chat about what you are seeing, right? So first of all, let's just get this out of the way. This is normal, okay? These behaviors are not happening because there's something wrong with your kid or because you're a shitty mom. Okay, so Patricia, everything's happening besides the bedwetting. Okay, yeah, mama, I feel you. The kids are insane, yes. Your 4-year-old is so out of sorts and my 11-year-old is so stressed. Oh, I know. As I get older, man. Okay, so this is completely related to, one, how in tune, how gifted, right? But how in tune they are with the energy of the world right now and what's going on around them, which is unfortunately primarily fear, okay? 2, this is related specifically to COVID and the quarantine, right? So it's actually a good sign. It's actually adaptive for our kids to regress in some of their behaviors because that's how they get their safety and dependency needs met, right? So like us, their whole world has been flipped upside down. Like us, they might not feeling as safe as they did a month ago. You know, the world feels out of control, right? So, you know, they're looking to us, they're clinging to us, they're acting out with us. And it's a beautiful sign that they're doing that because it means that you are their safe place in the world, right? You are their constant, right? But just know underneath their behavior, they are really just saying, help me to feel safe again, mama. Help me to move through some of this fear, right? Once I do, I'll feel confident to be independent again, okay? Sarah, mostly meltdowns, increased bossiness, ordering me around, meltdown spiraling to the point you can't calm himself down. Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, so this is all related to what's going on, okay? And their regressions are linked to a desire for safety, right? It's an adaptive behavior. Also, super important, who your child is showing up as right now is not a preview of who they're going to be in a few months, or even in a few weeks or a few days, right? This is not forever. I'm noticing that right around now, like week 4 and week 5, like it's starting to really set in for our kids, right? Like we are in a different place in the grief process than our children are. But like, this is not who they are now. I think that sometimes we react because we're like, shit, like, I can't deal with this. What is this? Like, I thought we were past this, or like, what is going on with these behaviors? And like, we are, my 5-year-old is acting like a 13-year-old, kind of awesome. So he's not regressing. He is forward going. He's jumping forward into the future. Yeah, then that's an aspect of wanting control, right? So it's like, this is completely normal, okay? And it's also temporary. So I think when something is happening in the moment, I think at least in my experience, I freak out because one, I'm triggered, right? And some of my stuff is being triggered. My stuff from when I was a kid that wasn't healed or dealt with is being triggered by my kids' behavior. 2, because our nerves are shot. But 3, it's because I feel like this is the new way and it's going to be like this forever, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, and you freak out. It's not. This is temporary, okay? So if we can step in with these tools to help ground our kids, right, and make them feel safer, right, then this time can be like not as rough, right? We can actually heal some stuff. We can actually help our kids to be even more solid in their footing going forward. And when we learn these tools and we learn like why this is really happening, it helps us to deepen our connection, right? It helps to not only give our children grace, but ourselves grace, okay? So one of the first things you guys really wanted help with, and I'm going to start with this one because sleep is like king. So sleep issues, sleeping less, interrupted sleep, nightmares, right? Okay, so anxiety and change of routine creates sleep disturbances, and changes of routine, changes of physical activity levels, energy levels, right? Like it's kind of like which one came first, the chicken or the egg, because lack of sleep causes anxiety, and anxiety causes lack of sleep, okay? In most of our cases, it's likely that the stress is causing the sleep problems, right? But just in case it's the chicken, right? Check in with bedtimes, check in with wake times. Have they been keeping the same schedule as before? How much were they sleeping before, right? Are they getting the right amount of sleep for their age, which you can Google, you know, that how much sleep does my 5-year-old need, whatever. Getting up and going to bed at a regular time is helpful. I know it's hard because it's just like, it's so much looser, but that is really important for kids. You know, white noise, maybe that's kind of drown out, you know, just the noises of the house if it's different. A dark room, right? Or if they have or want a nightlight, keep it dim. No screen time an hour before bed. That can disturb their circadian rhythms. Physical movement, exercise, right? Super important for all of us right now, especially like before bed, right? So it drops us out of our minds where fear and anxiety reside. It also tires us out, right? It produces endorphins. I always think of that line from Legally Blonde, which is like, of course she didn't murder her husband. Exercise produces endorphins. Endorphins make us happy, right? But it also just like, it lowers our stress levels. So like if it's a rainy day, like yesterday, right? Here in New Hampshire, it was awful. We had a dance party around dinner time, right? Like we were really moving. Sometimes we'll do like push-ups, you know, before the kids go to bed. It really helps you to kind of ground in your nervous system. Another really helpful tool for good sleep and just for anchoring in general is taking a bath before bed, right? It helps to calm the nervous system. It helps to reduce levels of stress and anxiety in the body and improve one's mood. I've been adding a cup of Epsom salt. And what is it? I forget what the recipe is. How many cups of apple cider vinegar? My pediatrician will tell us it can help with boosting immunity. I don't know. I feel like apple cider vinegar has like 1,000 different benefits. and oils, essential oils, right, in the tub that are grounding. I have with me that I love for my kiddos, it's doTERRA. I have the Calma blend, and I also have Steady, which are rollers. The regular oils you can drop into the bath, but I actually do oils on the kiddos' feet after the bath, which is really great. And my friend Kate, who's a dear friend, is like, learned so much about oils from her. So she can help with specifics. I linked on the PDF gift the link to the oils. Like I really like sandalwood right now. I'm really liking vetiver, but these are the go-tos that I use, the doTERRA Kids collection, because it's just easy. The rollers, you do them right on the feet. Sometimes I do it down on the spine. Yes, grounding oils for the kiddos. Thank you, Kate. I will refer to you for oil expertise. You can also, if your kids like to take a shower, you can also ask them to imagine that the waters are coming down, right? It's washing away all their worries for the day. It's taking them down to the drain, where Mama Earth uses them for good, right? She uses them for new life. And the warm water actually gets our bodies ready for sleep, okay? So like I said, after the bath, we like to do oils on the feet, and then we also do deep pressure. Thank you. I talked about this during one of our free trainings this week. So if you want to see my demonstration, I gave my son Holden. I did the deep pressure techniques that you can watch live. It's there for you. But really, it's just about like giving your kiddos a bear hug, right? If they're having like a freak out or a meltdown, if they might need space, but when they're ready, just being there for them with open arms and just doing like some deep pressure and a nice bear hug. It's like a decompression, right? Before the baby goes to bed, I do like a deep massage, and it's linked in the video, where I kind of, starting at the hip and thighs, kind of move my way down to the feet in kind of a rolling motion. I do it with his arms going out away from the heart, and then also counterclockwise massage. So just really like taking the time to help the body to decompress and just get really grounded before bed is especially helpful. And they love it. Like the kids love the deep pressure and the massage. Kids can also do like a tighten and release. You can say, okay, we're going to tighten and release our feet. So tighten them really, really fast, really hard, hold for 5 seconds, and then release them. And they can do it all the way up to their body. Some of the older kids like to have that game. What else? Oh, the tuning fork. I'm like looking right at it. Okay, so this is the standard tuning fork, okay? You can order it on Amazon. Again, it's linked in the guide, the one that we use. I think this was like $19 or something. This basically uses vibration and sound to release energetic blockages, right? It also helps to like alter our brainwaves in some way. I have no idea how, but bring peace and ease into the body. Okay, so all you have to do is literally just strike it. If you have like a hockey puck, or you just whack it on the furniture usually. Sometimes my husband does not like that. But you strike it and you hold it next to your ear, your kiddo's ear, or the frontal cortex, and literally it's like you just drop in. And it just connects you with that vibrational frequency like of the earth, where just like everything, it's like you remember who you are. You remember your oneness. That's at least my experience with the tuning fork. I got this one on Amazon, and I do it with the baby, like before every nap, and especially if he's fussy, or again, it's like the swarm of angry bees. That's what the energy is like right now for our kiddos. They're just surrounded by these bees. The tuning fork, strike it and put it next to them and around their kind of like frontal cortex. It like dispels the bees. Okay. But if you're like, girl, I'm not spending $19.99 on anything right now, totally hear you. Just either Google the Schumann resonance, which I linked in the guide, to listen to the Earth's vibration, or there's my friend Jen has beautiful crystal bowl sound healing tracks that you can get for free on YouTube. Okay. What else? So the kids and I have been praying before bed as a way to kind of give over our worries. And I even do it with, the baby and with my 2-year-old. So, but if, no matter what your beliefs are, totally cool. If that's not your jam, Something else that we just tried is called a surrender box. And you can Google it if you want. But it's basically, you know, we got these little boxes that I cleaned after, you know, they came in the mail. And we write down our fears and our worries, and we put them into the box. And then we decorated them with like pretty images. We cut pictures from magazines, like stickers, crayons, whatever, anything that makes you feel happy. And, you know, so by doing this, it's like we're surrendering, right? We're taking the things that are causing us not to feel good, right? And we're asking for help. We're saying that we're willing to have faith that somebody, right, we're going to be taken care of, right? And it helps us to just like feel more lighter and carefree. It's also like the morning pages activity, which I linked in the guide, which is just 3 pages of unconscious writing, just doodling, whatever. It's like, it pulls it out of the mind and puts it somewhere else, right? Better out than in. Because when all that stuff, all the fear, it's like a hamster wheel. It bogs us down. It causes more fear. It feeds the current fear that we already have. It makes the bees angrier. So doing a surrender box with your kids, doing the morning pages. Renee is just saying that she uses worry dolls. Remember those when like we were kids? They were awesome. Yeah, give your worries to the dolls, you know, put them under your pillow or whatever. Yay, you just started praying at night too. And you love the box idea. Yeah, I mean, hey, who can't use like a new craft to do, right? We all need a craft. You can also do, so I included when you guys signed up for the webinar, there's a free gift. It's a meditation, and it's a clearing meditation and also a cloak of protection. I use Archangel Michael because he is like the warrior of protection and safety and light. And it doesn't matter what you believe or what you don't believe, he works with everybody. So I do that before my kids go to bed. It's kind of just like, you know, and you can do it silently. You don't have to say it in front of them. But I just silently ask for them to be cleared of any energy or cords or yuck that may be attached to them during the day. And I use the same prayer to clear the energy of the room and ask for it to be sealed. And then I ask for the cloak of protection to surround, you know, the kids, the baby, whatever me, so that they can have deeply, you know, peaceful sleep and they can get the rest that they need. So again, it's in a guided meditation, the gift that you got, if it resonates. If not, like anything that doesn't resonate, restart and update to stay in support. Yeah, I'm good. Yikes. One other thing that's helpful is a weighted blanket, right? Again, these tools are meant to be easy, but if you're looking for things to help, a weighted blanket, you can get on Amazon, and it can really help to just kind of like give them that deep pressure, that bear hug, that solid support that they need while they're sleeping or while they're resting or watching a movie or something like that. Okay. Trying to think of other tools for sleeping. Any other questions about sleeping or sleep regression or early waking? I think those are all my tips. I'm just gonna move this over because weird pop-up thing is happening. Okay, I don't want you to restart. Sorry, freaking me out. 1995 computer. Ah. Okay, so tools about bedwetting. You guys had questions about potty training, regression, bedwetting, things like that. So again, any type of regression is a safety-seeking behavior, right? When kids are full of fear and uncertainty, they, like us, they don't feel safe as they did months ago, okay? Like we're in quarantine, you know, they're receiving the message that it's not safe to explore, right? So it's adaptive for them to regress to get their safety and dependency needs met. Literally, my 2-year-old has been doing this like crazy. And so what I've been doing is just holding her. Oh, sweet baby Junie. Oh, mommy loves you. Like treating her like, you know, like indulging this baby behavior a little bit, just a few times a day. Yes, still having boundaries. I'm not carrying her on my hip all day long. It's like, mommy loves you. Right now is mommy's time to go and do X, Y, and Z. This is what you can do. And mommy always comes back, right? But I feel like if we can meet our children's, you know, these kind of safety seeking behaviors, right? These regressions. If we can just kind of meet them where they are, right? Remembering that this is not forever, this is not the new way, right? This is just temporary. I think that we'll start to kind of soften and empathize, right? And just meeting their needs in the moment, I think it will help them to actually start to feel like they can, at one point when they're ready, feel safe to be independent again. Does that make sense? Yeah, so, you know, try not to react and just like hold space and realize that this is them just literally like adapting like as humans to what they're reading the room, right? They're like, this is not safe, so this is what I need to do. It's kind of built into their wiring. Okay, the other question that came in was around combativeness, meltdowns, not listening, not respecting authority, not following directions, right? Super fun. Raise your hand or drop it in the chat if you have kids that are suddenly just bucking more than normal. Freaking crazy. Yeah, so these types of behaviors, I'm just reading the question. Okay, yeah, so these types of behaviors are just our kids' way of showing that the world feels really out of control right now, right? Just like ours. But they lack like the emotional conditioning, right, that we have, which isn't always good to keep it. We keep it to ourselves a lot, right? We hold it within, sometimes we stuff it. That's another webinar, but they just show it. Like they show what they're actually feeling, right? Which is really beautiful. Like, wouldn't it be amazing sometimes to just show how we're feeling? Like sometimes do you ever look at your kid who's just having like a complete epic meltdown on the floor and you're like, yeah, that looks good right now, right? Like I wish that I could do that, right? Letting it go. But literally, has anyone like screamed or punched a pillow or, you know, sobbed since this all began? So therapeutic. I highly recommend it. But that's what our kids are doing. Like they're showing their emotions. They're also vying for control. They're vying for power. Why? Because they feel powerless. They are literally seeing how little control we actually have as humans. Like we really have never had control. We just have convinced ourselves with the way that we live our lives, the way we exist, that we have control, right? And this is really hard for kids. The younger ones maybe can flow with a little bit because they're still just in that presence, right? But what do we do when we feel like we're out of control? We fight for control. We fight for power, right? So when this is happening, and this is happening a ton with my middle and older kid who are 2 and 6, if we can just like hit pause, take a breath, take a beat, take a step back, right? See that this is coming from a place, not of defiance, not of like wanting to just piss mom off or like, not to be nasty, you know, most of the time. It's really coming from a wound. Like, this is really natural, right? Like they're just reacting and responding to what is going on, what they're feeling. I think it kind of lets us off the hook a bit, and we realize how silly it would be to engage in that power struggle with our kids. Because when we do, right, what happens when we feel out of control and so we come at something and then that person comes back? Are we like, oh, right? No, like, we lock into that power struggle with them, right? It just adds to them like digging their heels in and wanting more control and wanting more power. It just creates more resistance. Right? And I know like they're screaming at you when you're getting that energy, the angry bees get even louder, right? It almost feels like for me, I'm being like electrocuted, like it's like sensory overload. And so like kids just want to know, like, is it safe to be me? Is it safe to feel the way I'm feeling? Am I heard? Am I loved? Am I seen? Right? And so sometimes like we can't respond in the moment because it's just too energetically charged. But once there's calm, you know, I have to take a breath. I have to take a beat usually and like go into the bathroom and do some square breathing, right? Breathing in for 7, hold it for 7, breathe out for 7, hold it for 7, and until I'm like grounded, because it just triggers me like crazy. And then just being like, yeah, man, like this is hard. Like I know. like, I don't really know what's happening either. You know, it's just like being honest, but like with their developmental level, right? I think other tips that will help this, okay? Keeping a loose schedule. Loose is the key term. So we do the thing with Post-it notes, right? For our daily schedule, where in the morning, I write down the things that are non-negotiables for the day, right? Like fresh air, reading, movement, or something. Like I have like 3 things. And then the kids get to have input on what they want to do, right? So they're like, Mom, I want to play with the iPad. I want to, you know, have indoor recess, or I want to eat a snack. And I'm like, great. So we write it all down, and each on a separate Post-it, right? And then sometimes there's some that get voted off the island. I'm like, we're not doing that, no way. But I try to be flexible, right? And then I arrange them in an order on the wall so they can see them in an order that works for me and my husband, right? So I might do like a really physical activity before we do a chill one, like reading, so they can kind of get that energy out, right? I also, I'm just checking my notes. Oh yeah, I also help to alternate between things that require my help versus things where I can set them up and they can do it on their own, right? My blueprint is not to, like, my blueprint is not to be with my kids all day long. My blueprint is not to be engaged in playing with my kids all day long. Maybe yours isn't either. Maybe it is. Both are great. There's no right way. Okay. I think it's just figuring out the way that works for you, and then asking yourself, what does that look like? A really wise teacher once told me that some of us mothers, you know, we all come in with a blueprint, and some of us mothers come in with one that loves being with our kids all the time, right? And others of us come in with a blueprint where we are not served by being with our kids all the time. And that if we have a certain blueprint by nature, just of who we are, and we don't honor it, she's like, you will die. Like, and I think she means like an internal, your internal life, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Is that helpful? Okay, let me just check the chat and see how we're doing. Ooh, Bri, I have to hop off. This is so amazing, so great. Meditation was awesome. Will you send me? Yes, of course, absolutely. Yes. Yes, everyone will get the recorded version. I totally understand. We just had lots of really good questions, so I want to make sure that I identified and answered all of them for you. Are there any other tools from the list that you guys wanted specific support with? There's links in most of them, but anything else you want me to walk you through, or anything else that you're experiencing? All right, I'll give you guys time. Sometimes it takes a little minute to come through. But I think, you know, I want to say that I think right now, using this time, right, honoring ourselves, figuring out what our blueprint is, right, as women and mothers, who we really are, who we came in as, right, like our unique and beautiful wiring, I think is more important than ever. Because, you know, today's workshop, like, is, yes, ways of learning tools and practicing ways of honoring and serving not just our children, but ourselves, right? I was so excited about the interest in this workshop, in this class, right? Like, so jazzed. But I wondered that if it was just tools, grounding tools for us mamas, how many people would have said yes, right? How many people would have said, yes, I'm worthy of that. Like, I'm going to make time, right? I noticed that sometimes it's easier for us as mothers to say yes to things, or invest in things, or to do things that are for our kids, but a little bit less likely to do things for us, right? I heard a quote from a movie that's coming out. I think who's in it? It's like Cate Blanchett. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the quote was a famous quote that said, women are like tea bags, and you don't know our strength until we're in hot water. And I really believe that, you know, this time that we're in, it can kind of be considered like hot water. Some of us are realizing our strengths more than ever before, right? Like, we are seeing just how strong we are, how we are literally doing and living in a way that we would have, before all this happened, we would have considered it impossible, right? Working, mothering, preparing, cleaning, leading, taking care of our communities, protecting, you know, worrying, processing. And I think, like, during this time, we actually get to see how resilient and brilliant and gritty we really are. Like, we mamas, we blow me away. Like, seriously. But I've also noticed that these times, this time, right, this great pause that we're in, for some of us, right? Some of us are more busy than we were before because our kids are home. But I think it can also kind of show us where we've been hiding, where we've been going through the motions, or maybe living in ways that don't fill us, right? Or holding on to relationships or parts of our work or our beliefs or our stories, or, you know, narratives that don't serve us anymore, or honestly never did, right? I think it's, for me, this time is kind of illuminating how parts of my life I've been living not according to my own divine blueprint, right? But according to what the outside world has told me a good mother does, or what a good mother should do, right? The cultural programming that we've been steeped in, right? To tie in that teabag reference. It's just, we're getting to see it up close and personal right now, right? Just some of these ways of living, because, and it's not like we haven't wanted to look at it before. It's not like we've been like, you know, we're going to live according to the patriarchy, and we're going to buy into all these cultural expectations and not live the way we want to live. Like, that's not what we've done. It's just like, we've been so busy, right? Like, we've been so busy. Up until now, we've maybe been able to ignore them or drown them out because we've been moving so fast, right? That we really haven't had time to look at them. And so, like, I've been starting to ask myself the big questions, like, am I living in a way that lights me up, right? Do I make my joy a priority? Do I feel purposeful in my life, right? Like, where have I been complacent and conforming to the expectations of others in my life and in my work and in my motherhood? Whew, right? And I'm sure a lot of you, or some of you, have read, you know, been reading some books, and Glennon Doyle's Untamed, man, like, I was like, I am that cheetah, right? We are that cheetah. Sometimes we forget we're a damn cheetah, right? Like, what legacy do we want to live? It just fires me up. But I was reading this article the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it. And it said something about, like, how pretty soon, as the country begins to figure out how we open back up and move forward, like, these very powerful forces will try to convince us to all get back to normal. Right? And it said, the quote, businesses and the government are about to try to knock us unconscious again. And so it was like, the question that they were posing is like, do we want to return to the old way, right? Or do we want to take this sacred pause that we've been offered to take inventory of whether our life is reflecting who we really are, right? Yes, great article about gaslighting. Yes, Gina. If anyone has it, if you can link it in the comments, it's like so profound. But basically, it was saying, like, do you want to take inventory of whether your life has, up until this point, reflected who you really are? Thank you, Megan. You're amazing. Is the way that you're living and spending your time authentic to you? Is it meaningful to you? Is it sacred to you, right? Or is it reflecting some collective ideal that that we think we have to conform to? And so, for those of you who resonate with that article, or resonate, with kind of the pillars in it, and are really maybe interested in seeing this great pause as an opportunity to kind of pivot and come home to who you are truly, like honoring your blueprint, right? You're like the way you came in. I want to share a new project that may be exactly what you need right now. I can try to put the little link in the chat box. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, computer is so, oops. I also, I sent you an email with the link. I think the email subject says, like, here's the link. So if you want to open that up. Oh, Caitlin, it's gorgeous. Thank you. I had a very genius graphic designer help me, Megan Lambert, out of Portland, Maine, well, the surrounding area. She's just absolutely is able to take visions and put them, make them real. So, but yeah, this project, I emailed it to you, and it's here in our chat box. It's been coming in. It's something that's been downloading since my baby was born 11 months ago, coming in during meditation, the shower, before I drift off to sleep. And it's called the Real Mama Project. And it's a sacred container for mamas. And you are the first people that I'm sharing it with. Oh. But what it is, it's a private and intimate online village for us. A virtual space to have real, honest conversations, raw conversations about motherhood. A place, it's a monthly subscription, but it's really a space for our rising, right? For us to remember and uncover our true selves, right? Before the world told us who to be, before we forgot who we truly are, right? It makes me cry. And it's made up of, you know, like-hearted mamas and seekers, mama seekers, right? Who want to create a life that supports who they really are and what they really want. And it's here for you. It includes things like, you know, we're going to have bi-monthly group calls together twice a month with mentorship and guidance. To really hold your hand and to guide with whatever is going on during these, you know, during these crazy times. It's going to have daily rituals and practices and tools for you and your kiddos that help you to bring you back to your center, remember who you are. We're going to have things like guided meditations every month. I've created these really beautiful oracle cards that are tied into the themes that we'll be talking about, which I'll say in a second. We're going to have online classes with some incredible and super fun and edgy, like, women and mamas, these guest teachers. We have playlists, like, for all the different parts of your mama life. Like, there's one that helps you wind down before bed. There's one that helps you get, you know, really kind of enjoy the dinner time craziness, right? The dinner time hustle. There's one for, like, creating peace and just, you know, space in your morning with your kiddos. Oh, thanks, Renee. Patricia, you have to go. Your kids decided to take apart sand bottles. No worries, love. I'll send you the recording. So yeah, some of the monthly themes that we're going to be diving into is like creating sacred space in your home, embodying a minimalistic lifestyle, deep rest, menstruation and the moon, vaginal steaming, plant medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, sexual awakening as a mother, conscious mothering, healing your money story, breath work, easing perfection, you are not your anxiety, uncovering your deeper purpose, why your child chose you, tarot, connecting with your guides, like reclaiming your wilds, all sorts of just really amazing things to connect with who you are. So I really wanted to make it easier for mamas to say yes to themselves. So the online village is easy to use. It's without a heavy time commitment. I know you have all the things going on right now, and I'm really here, all the sexiest. Yes, I do like sexy, edgy things. So if you're a seeker and you like to kind of get real and raw, like, you're my people. Oh, Caitlin, you just signed up. I love you. So excited. Yay, it's happening. But yeah, like this is here to lighten your load, right? Even just a few moments, touching it a day, touching the community or receiving support, it can really just have this profound transformative impact on our lives right now, on our joy. Remember that we're all here, we're all connected, right? We can receive tools and guidance and community. You take what resonates, you leave the rest. And so one of my favorite parts is that this Real Mama Project is like, it's $11 a month, right? So just for $11 a month, you get to be a part of this incredible village, the personal mentor, humble personal mentor, the village, you know, the support, realness, the monthly meditations, the cards, the classes, the guest teachers, like dance parties. I'm all about dance parties, and you get it in 24/7 access and just the simple, like doable yet profound container that you can access whenever your mama heart wants. You can leave whenever you want. There's no minimum required. And those who join now will be grandfathered in at that $11 a month rate forever, as it will be, you know, changing in the future as we change. But, and for those of you guys, a free gift. I love giving presents. For those of you who are on the call or listening to the recording, if you join us by midnight tonight or whenever you go to bed, mine like 8 p.m., you'll also receive a free private inner knowing session with me, which is 1 hour virtually where we connect with your intuition, we clear blocks that are standing between you and kind of your inner knowing. So I created this to really serve your heart and make it so that the energetic exchange felt really safe and really beautiful right now. So if you feel called and you want to join us, there's just a little button you click and you fill out your info. You can do it whenever. And if now doesn't feel aligned for you because of whatever's going on, like, we'll be here when it does. Like, it's all good. I just, my wishes for us mamas is just like, really, I want to show you how making your needs a priority, how making your wishes a priority, how honoring your blueprint. And so many of us have been taught that it's wrong and shameful and that good mothers don't do certain things. Like, I want to show you how honoring that blueprint actually enriches our children's life. It doesn't take away from them, and it enriches them, right? We've been taught that as mothers in our culture, we should make sure that everyone else is okay before we do anything for ourselves. And I really believe that you can be a good mother and honor yourself, that you can be grateful and want more. And I really believe that right now is our time to come into our full power. Like, this great pause, I think this is here for a reason, and to remember that we, like Glennon Doyle would say, we are cheetahs, right? I feel like a cheetah. So I really believe that this is the work of our generation. And one of my favorite quotes in the world that came to me right after Jonah was born was, when we heal the mama, we heal the child, we heal the family, and we heal the planet, right? So if you have any questions about, the Real Mama Project, just, you can put them in the chat box, or you can email me, respond to the link that I sent you. It would be such a joy to just come together right now as mamas and link arms and just do this sacred work together. So thank you for being the first mamas that I felt called to share this with. I love you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm looking at the time and I realize that we have a few moments left. I want to circle back to the grounding tools and practices. Are there any more that you'd love to learn more about? Let me just go through the feed. I feel like I saw one. Renee, thank you. You're so, guys, having mama friends that are like, understand you and are there for you and support you. If you don't have that, like, please, like, join us. Like, let me know if I can help you in any way, because having women that are seekers, that are mothers, that are open to this incredible way of being and existing is like, I can't even tell you what a godsend it is. Okay. Oh, so Patricia. Okay. Well, Patricia, you can listen to this on the replay, but I think a lot of what she's saying, I think a lot of what I see my kids are doing is because of what they see me doing and not keeping my anxiety in check. Yeah, but mama, like, seriously, we're all there. We're all in it. Like, give yourself grace, no shame, no judgment. Like, it would be weird if we weren't feeling anxious right now. Okay. Like, we're human. We are, and it's because of your gifts, of how highly sensitive you are, which is such a beautiful thing, that you are so in tune, right? And of course, like, the kids are going to pick up on our energy, but it's not all you, honey. Like, if they're sensitive, like, they're picking up on the energy of the collective. This is not your burden to bear. Okay. Like, that's why you're here. That's why you found out about this. This is why you were called. Now we have some tools. Go back through, listen to it again, see what resonates with you, right? You can use that meditation on this call or the free one. Start to play, like, start to explore, right? Like, we're all in this together. So it's perfectly okay. And our kids, honestly, like, when I mess up, I've lost my ish, screamed, reacted, did all the things that are not on this webinar. Like, I am very imperfect and very human. I think the most beautiful thing that we can do is just, like, apologize. Like, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I should never yell. Like, I was frustrated. I felt this way. Yelling is never helpful. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? Like, I asked for their forgiveness, like, genuinely. And I think we're just teaching them that it's okay to make mistakes and that it's okay to feel all the things and that mommies feel them too, right?